Hello and welcome to Work Like a Girl, where we feature interesting women doing interesting work. My name is Angela Champ, and today I have with me Jody Conrad. Welcome, Jody.
Hi, thanks.
So, Jody, tell us about your work, your role. What do you do?
Currently, I'm an operations manager for a company that designs and builds well service rigs.
Well service rigs, okay.
Yes.
That's very heavily male dominated.
Yes, the industry is very male dominated. We do the engineering of the design with the customer from concept all the way through to delivering a final product.
Okay.
Large scale projects. These rigs are, worth values over, $10 million. So very large scale complex projects that take over a year to build.
So design and manufacturing. Do you also do installation?
We merged with the company we used to sell the rigs to, and they operate them as well right now. So there's not really an installation. It's more a service contract where they actually operate the rigs and employ them.
Okay. So how did you get into that kind of a field?
It's been a long road to get there. I've done a lot of different things. I started out just doing drafting work for a little company in Regina doing road rail units. And just in the mechanical design field and worked my way through there. Eventually got recruited by Schlumberger to come to Alberta and get into oil and gas industry.
Okay.
They had a huge promotion at one point to bring females into non-male or to non-female dominated roles.
Okay.
And I came across with that into Schlumberger. I didn't necessarily like the work I got put into. I was just doing some downhole oil samples and stuff. And I'm not with a chemical background. I'm a mechanical background. It wasn't really what I was interested in, but I did get a lot of education on the rigs, how they work, and what that field operation was like. And from there, moved on to working with a snubbing rig design manufacturer out of Norway. And went overseas and worked over there for a while and came back. And I've consistently now worked for 3 or 4 different manufacturers in the drilling industry.
So more commonly, when women get into design work, it's mostly something like interior design or even architectural design. You're doing something completely different. You have a diploma in computer-assisted drafting and design. Tell me, what kinds of things can you do with that sort of a diploma?
So that diploma is basically, if you want to compare it to something else, it's a mechanical engineering technologist. Mm-hmm. They called it CAD/CAM when I took it. It was just a variation from the mechanical engineering, but you learned how to do 3D modeling and 3D design work in platforms like Inventor or SolidWorks. And then we also learned how to do CNC programming on machines and how to actually build stuff. So there was a component to me that was really interesting to learn that different design language and programming and getting more into computers. And that was kind of my generation. A lot of people weren't into the whole computer side of things. Mm-hmm. So that's why I chose that. But you can come out and do any design work and drafting work for any company building physical components, machinery, design, any of that kind of stuff. As a technologist, you can't stamp and approve engineering design work, but you can work under a PEng and provide them all of that information for their approvals. So you can do quite a few things. You can also take that diploma and go and get your stamp. In Alberta, the APEGA does allow you to do that.
Okay.
If you have enough years of experience and stuff without having to go back for your degree. So there are some ways to get around it.
You mentioned that one of your employers had a campaign to get more women into their company. Why do you think there aren't so many women doing what you were doing?
I think it can be intimidating. The drilling industry is the old boys club, not so much as it was when I first entered it, but the stigma is still there. And I think it's just intimidating for a lot of women to walk in that room and to exert confidence in themselves, because in my impression, from working in the industry, it's all about your confidence. And if you can show and exert that confidence, you can win over the room.
That is so true, and really excellent advice in general. Before I ask what kind of advice you would have for 15-year-old you, what traits or personality or characteristics do you think would be best suited to succeed, aside from the confidence, in a role like yours?
The big thing for me in high school that made me decide that was the path I was going is I really didn't like bio or chemistry, but I loved math, calculus, and physics, physics especially. And essentially that's engineering, and that's where it comes from, is trying to figure out how something works and how to make it work. That's for me what what led me down that path, I guess.
That's excellent. You're the second person that I've talked to for this series who said that they actually started in biology, but really it was the math and physics that got them jumping out of bed in the morning. And so it's really about knowing what you're good at and then exploring what careers fit that, whether you love math, physics, or biology or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So what advice would you have for 15-year-old you?
Well, it's funny to look back there. 15-year-old me, I originally, way back when, wanted to do, I wanted to be a marine biologist.
Okay.
I always thought I'd be a marine biologist because I love the ocean. But I decided to go into engineering. My father at the time, actually, I was going to go to U of S and do my full mechanical engineering degree. Mm-hmm. And my father at the time said, you know what, just test it out first and do the technology and just see if you like it. Mm-hmm. I think he was, at that time, just preparing me for going into more of a male-dominated field. But I'm really glad I took the technology route. And I don't know if I'd change anything that I did, because it's given me more opportunity, different growth opportunities. Because I didn't become a PEng, I got way more involved in the business side of things, and have gone on to take my bachelor's degree in technology, which is essentially a business degree that you can do after you have a technology diploma. Okay. And then from there, I'm currently doing my MBA. And so I have really got more interested in the business side of things. Fantastic. And so I'm very glad of the way I went through it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd have other advice for myself other than stick with your gut. When you make a decision, stick with it regardless of what anyone says.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's awesome. This has been Work Like a Girl, and we'll talk to you next time.